Hello, sacred souls. It's Susanna from Alemannic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is removing the dark, unhealed trauma from our womb, our sacral chakra, and generally speaking, our energy center that is responsible for creativity, right? So, for all those of us who have a womb, there's going to be a lot of healing done in the womb. And for all those of you who don't have one, it's going to be focused on the sacral chakra. Okay. So, again, for all of us, that's the center of our creativity, center of creation, right? And that tends to store a lot of unhealed trauma. And the more unhealed trauma we carry within us, the less creative we can usually be, just because all that darkness kind of dampens that light creative spirit within us, right? Or that energy. Okay, with that being said, I actually have some black glutinous rice that I cooked, and I put some black olives in there as well. So the rice and the olives shall represent, first of all, the unhealed trauma in general, but also a lot of times that darkness also attracts astral parasites. So the rice nicely represents those kind of like astral maggots and astral leeches and that kind of stuff. And the olives more kind of the dark growth. So that's the kind of stuff where when a dark seed is planted and it grows and it takes over more and more, and then we end up being more and more in darkness, meaning in dark, low vibrational energies, so depression, negative worldviews, and all that kind of stuff, right? And that goes in the direction of paranoia and thinking that the whole world is out to get us, and so on and so on, right? So I also still have part of that dark candle where we banished the darkness, and the bottom half was and is golden. So we have that transition from darkness into divine energies, right? So with that removal from that dark stuff in our womb, in our sacral chakra, we're moving more and more into those divine energies. And since those dark energies are also usually equated with the devil energies, right? It's like when you're in darkness, you can easily get caught up in negative, not just thought forms, but then also negative actions and things that can be manipulative, vindictive, just anything that is not honest and straightforward and focused on your own growth and on kindness and love, but everything that is the opposite, right? So I have a wooden fork here representing those devil energies, and I'm also going to break those as well as remove all that dark stuff. And then I'm going to move the candle into the plate representing the womb space. And I do have a clean plate standing by. I also have some tissues to clean that out, but depending on how messy it is, I might just switch the bowl out with the clean one, but it's still the same healing action that we're placing the divine light in the womb space that needs the healing, right? Okay, with that being said, let's smudge and jump right in. Please cleanse, clear, and renew all of our energies and take away anything dark, low vibrational, and unhealed, and transmute it into pure divine essence and return it to the universe for reintegration, and help us fully and completely reconnect to our own inner divinity and that all around us, and through that help us be in oneness with all of creation. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. All right, I also quickly forgot. Here's also a wonderful sign that was in one of those local neighborhood newspapers that came in the mail. And that's this one, treasure awaits, right? So when I saw that, I knew instantly that that was a message of, yeah, the treasure of having abundance and all of our gifts and abilities stream in when we've gone through enough of that healing. That is the reward that is waiting for us, right? So I just wanted to include that there. I try to just have this part, but it keeps opening up. So actually, maybe I can kind of put that one there. That works. Okay. So with that removed, let me just shuffle a few things around here. So I have just an old container that I'm going to reuse to put that in. I do want to eat it, but I won't be able to eat all of that in the ceremony now. So that's why I have a little container where I can put the rest in and then eventually eat it. All right. So without further ado, let us call in our divine team. Dear divine higher power of the universe, our higher selves, our entire divine spirit team of the light, including the 4 directions, the 4 elements, and our ancestors that are in the light. Please join the ceremony and assist the healings, prayers, and protection with all of your powers. Thank you. Please close the circle of protection around us. Thank you. All right. So let us take a moment to give thanks for some of the blessings in our lives. I want to give thanks for having had a few really wonderful days. We've had a few really amazingly beautiful, hot, sunny summer days. And today it was rainy, but I felt that Mother Earth really, really needed the rain. So I'm also very thankful for that. It was cooler, but not cold. So it was actually still quite a pleasant day during the time when it didn't rain. And again, when it rained, I just knew that it was really needed, right? So I'm very grateful for that. And that also means that I could take a little bit of a break from checking on my secret garden behind the train tracks, because I've been going there basically, well, almost every day except when it rains, right? So just to make sure that the plants have enough water. So I went there to water them. And once in a while, I harvested some of the herbs, and the one day when I actually got the first beans. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful also for all the abundance that Mother Earth offers us, even if not everything is right in front of us, but there's such an abundance on this planet, and you know, we can find ways to have some of that abundance right in our lives. Okay, without further ado, let us jump into the healing. So I ask our divine team to please help us remove any and all of that remaining dark, unhealed trauma that we carry within us, that has been passed down to us through our DNA, well, through the DNA of our ancestors into our DNA, and that we are now healing from as part of the ancestral curse breakers in our family, right? And by curse, meaning the trauma that has basically brought curses into our lives in the sense of, um, let's say, lack, bad luck, and other things that we didn't really want in our lives, dysfunctional relationships, and all that sort of stuff that we didn't really want. And on a conscious level, we were not asking for it, but on a subconscious level, that's what we were attracting because of all that unhealed trauma that we most likely weren't even aware of, right? So, with that, being said, let all that darkness be removed from our womb space, from our sacral chakra, from our creative energy center within us. And by eating this, let all of that be digested and excreted from our system. So if any of you want to create some food that is black in color or very dark in color, that would be wonderful. Then you can do this right along with me here in the video. You can always come back to this video again after you've made it. And for the rest of you, you're still going to get an energetic healing. However, I strongly encourage viewers to also act right along with me to make it more interactive, to make it more fun, and to make the healing stronger, right? So, okay, so I've scraped out a lot of stuff, and I'm going to eat some of this. But as I said, it's a lot, so I'm not going to be eating all of that right now. And I seasoned it with soy sauce as well, which is also black. So we can find some very good foods that are black in color. Oh yeah, molasses would be pretty dark too. So if you want a different kind of flavor, you can also go that route, right? And have something, oh yeah, sort of chocolate molasses type dark stuff that's sweet if you want. I personally was guided to do it with the black rice. And then I was guided to throw in the olives. So that was the route that I was taking. Actually, now that I'm talking about it, I'm also getting the guidance of it's better not to have sweet food for this because the trauma was not exactly sweet. So having it more savory is kind of a closer match to the experience, although this actually tastes decent, right? So anyway. Now, I threw this together pretty last minute, so I didn't have enough time to actually boil black beans because they would have needed more time to cook. But you could actually cook a very nice meal with that if you put some black beans in there too, and maybe had a little bit more interesting seasoning. I just put the soy sauce in, plain and simple, but it's still pretty decent tasting. But yeah, you could have a really good meal with that. I'm actually eating more than I realized I would because I already had my regular dinner. And the olives make it quite perfect. So I'm also very grateful, and this actually happens quite often when I eat something and I try some of it before the ceremony and it tastes okay, and when I eat it in the ceremony it tastes way better. There's something about the energy that goes into this entire ceremony that actually enhances this food to really make it palatable. So it's quite amazing. All right, and I feel like I don't actually want to change the bowl. I want to simply clean it and excuse my toilet paper. I don't have a box of tissues right now, so actually I usually don't, because this is kind of the same thing. So but yeah, I feel it has to be the exact same one. So just cleaning this out is good enough now. After the ceremony, if you want to also like clean it properly just for hygienic reasons. Actually, this is quite good. You know what? I have some rubbing alcohol here. I'm just going to use that to disinfect it for a moment. Oh, and that makes sense too. To clean out that internal space that has had so much yuckiness in it, that actually we need to kind of clean it out with basically spiritually disinfecting it as well, right? So I don't know what this is. Suddenly there's a black thing that doesn't want to come off. Very bizarre. Okay, here we go. And with that being said, our sacral chakra, our womb space, our center of creativity is now beautifully squeaky clean and ready to receive the light. But let us first break any and all spells, curses, hexes, ill wishes, and any and all other evil projections that come from a place of devil energy. Let all this devil energy now and forever be finished and removed. And I feel like, oh, interesting. When I was a kid, at the local swimming pool, we could buy French fries in a paper plate, quite similar to what they use nowadays. But this was in Germany in the 80s, okay? I actually have something similar here. So, like, you know how this cardboard is now sometimes used for vegetables? And they had a similar one, deeper and a little bit smaller, maybe like this size, but like deeper, that they would put French fries in. And it would come with a tiny little wooden fork that only had 2 picks at the front. So there's something about 2 and going back to the childhood, right? So childhood memories of you and one other person. So this could be a significantly close friend or a relative. Like in my case, my dad usually took me swimming. So, yeah, this healing is for you and this other significant person in your life where you have a strong, like a significant memory with that person. I'm going to have to think a little bit more about what exactly that relates to, because obviously like it wasn't the memory of the swimming pool itself, but so the relationship with the person that you have sort of a strong childhood memory of and with. Oh yeah, and what pops into my head right now is so I'll share a little bit of that with you. So my parents' marriage was very dysfunctional, but I was lucky that whenever my mom wanted some personal time on the weekends, she would send my dad to do something with me. So that was my time with him, right? And on one of those little day trips in the winter, I mentioned to him that I wanted one of those snow tubes, you know, where you can slide around in the snow with. actually usually down the hill. And he had promised it to me, and he must have forgotten. I never got it, right? And I know that he didn't do that on purpose, but yeah, so what comes to mind is broken promises, right? That you had certain expectations of your parent. Yeah, so this seems to be relating more. Ah, okay. So there's something about the parent that you feel abandoned you and that broke promises. But the backstory really is that the climate at home was such that the person who abandoned you was really escaping a very toxic um, setting, right? So, very toxic relationship or family setting. I don't know. In some cases, it might be more extended family living with you as well, right? But yeah, so this is what it's guiding me to. Okay, thank you, spirits. All right, so with that being said, so this shall be healed, right? So that we can forgive that parent or that caregiver, that close person who we looked up to, who was a role model or anything along those lines. And we can see and recognize that they were doing the best they could with the damage and the the toxic and dysfunctional tools that they had available to them as well, right? And that when seeing the bigger picture, we can also see, and like in my case, I'm actually now feeling also the pain that my dad was going through at the time, right? And how he wanted to be there for me, but a lot of times he just couldn't handle being around my toxic mom. And like the relationship with my brother was also very difficult for him. Um, so a lot of times rather than having constant fighting, and by that I mean verbal fighting, but again, in all of your situations that might be different, right? But he just often stayed away because he was escaping that toxic family dynamic, and he just wanted to have some moments of peace and happiness with his friends, with his buddies. And when I think back now, he was actually younger than I am now. So also giving our parents a break when we put everything in perspective. And we're going to send them and ourselves so much love and light, understanding and forgiveness, because both they and us, we did the best we could, and they did the best they could at the time with where they were at in their soul development, right? And what they had to learn. And with that being said, we can let it go in peace. And we sent them a big, big hug and all the love that we can send them. And you can repeat this as many times as you feel you might need. And bit by bit, you might be able to let go more and forgive more. I personally have been working on this for a while, and I thought I forgave my dad a long time ago, but see, something came up again. And I didn't think he was the biggest problem in that family dynamic yet. This was what came up right now, right? So some of that darkness within us has to do with that feeling of abandonment and or neglect or just broken promises, right? That being left alone. Ah, thank you, spirits. Also, being left alone in a toxic family dynamic without having them help us or defend us. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, spirits. Oh, and something else just came to me as well. A lot of the guidance I get is like claircognizant. It just pops into my head, right? So it was either yesterday or 2 days ago. I can't remember now. I had 2 days ago, I think. I had a delivery to someone who I could very much see it in her face was still in a lot of darkness. She had experienced a lot of abuse, and we ended up talking and in the end hugging, and like it was actually an amazing moment. Well, a longer moment, but um she shared with me how, she was beaten by her parents, like when she was growing up, and she made sure that she wouldn't do that to her kids. And I know that she really tried her best to be the best possible mom that she could be, but I also knew that she was so damaged herself that I'm certain that there was enough emotional abuse still going on, that not necessarily consciously, but just because she didn't have better means and better tools for parenting, she passed some of that on to her kids, right? God, what she said. She said something about how she still wasn't the perfect parent or something along those lines. And I was telling her that, well, when there was a lot of abuse, it's like with each generation you heal more and more and more, right? So she did a big step, and then her children will probably do better, and so on, right? And my dad was the one person who was still beaten daily by his mom, but my mom was raised by a mother, so my grandmother, who was beaten as a child and decided not to hit my mother. Oops, sorry. I just hit something here. But instead, she was highly emotionally abusive and wouldn't talk to my mother for months on end, right? So she gave her the silent treatment for a really long time. So there were other ways of like punishing the child, but it was equally damaging in a way, right? So yeah, somehow that wanted to come through, that the second generation after the generation that was beaten still needs to heal from a lot of emotional trauma, right? So we're letting all of that go, and we're forgiving them for having been helpless in some situations as parents, right? Because they didn't have all the wisdom yet that they might have had later on in life. So, for example, my dad was really patient and wise with my little stepsister, because by then he was already older, right? So, um, as we mature, we do heal from some of the stuff, right? So, it is now time to forgive our parents for not having had all the right tools to raise us without that kind of abuse. Whew. Okay, that's it. Whew. Thank you. Dankeschön. All my relations. And looking at the tissue from cleaning the plate actually looks more like in the bathroom after you did a number 2. That's actually a little bit gross. My apologies if anyone has a sensitive stomach, but I do have to look at all the different signs that I get. So yeah, basically we we cleaned off that stuff. It's coming out. It came out. It's done. And this is definitely going to go down the toilet. I'm going to flush it down right after. And I'll finish eating this, or as much as I can today, and then whatever I can't finish, I'll eat tomorrow. But this is going to be completely digested by our system, by our energy field, and excreted. It's going to be flushed out of our system, and we can let it go in peace and with peace. And with that, we can have that divine light in our belly, in our tummy, in our womb, in our sacral chakra, in our creative energy center. And we can move more into those childlike energies of light-hearted innocence that is a part of the ascension process, where when we can fully return into that state of being in the now like a child with our own inner child being healed, then we can be in that ascended state of being. We can be in oneness, right? So we've just taken a big step forward here with this. And with that being said, let us take a deep breath in, breathing in that pure divine healing light. And breathing out any and all remaining pain. And move your body, shake out your arms. If you want to shake your legs, roll your shoulders, roll your head. Just loosen up your muscles. And with that being said, let the ceremony now be finished, and let us give massive amounts of love, thanks, gratitude, and blessings to our divine team. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for this healing. Please open the circle of protection around us, but keep us strongly and massively safe, shielded, and protected at all times with a divine seal of protection. And so it is. Thank you, Dankeschön, all my relations. All our relations. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, for being a part of the ceremony, and for being on your own healing and ascension journey. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. And if you want to support the channel further, there's a PayPal link down below. And also there's a virtual shamanic healing ceremony coming up that's very interactive. That's on August the 21st, which is a Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And sorry, I almost forgot. There's also a physical fire ceremony in Toronto on August the 13th. And my apologies, I've had a few things going on at my end. I haven't posted that one yet, but same as the other one that I announced, they will both be on meetup.com under Shamanic Fire Ceremonies, and I will also post the information on the Alemannic Shaman Facebook page. However, for the virtual login, you would have to go through meetup.com to log in. And with that being said, I hope to see many of you there, and if not, then we'll reconnect through one of my next videos. In the meantime, I'm sending you tons of love, light, and blessings. Be well until next time, and I wish you great abundance. May truth and integrity always be with you. Bye for now.